Coming up, UNC makes a U-turn. COVID-19 forces thousands of students off campus just a couple of weeks after they moved in. We've got the latest on how the campus is coping.
Groups. Now students are taking the stage from home.
And remote learning, students are turning to memes to lighten the mood.
Carolina's campus and community. This is Carolina Week. From the UNC Hustle.
Welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Molly Cumming.
And I'm Gray Hurley. Just as it has ravaged the world, COVID-19 has sent shockwaves through Chapel Hill and UNC. Reporter Ed Trench takes us through a timeline of how we got to where we are now.
UNC students start arriving on campus to move into their dorms. The university reduced on-campus housing to 64%.
It's a video creating concern in the UNC community.
August 4th, video is released on Twitter that shows dozens of students leaving a home on Ransom Street with no masks. August 5th, UNC Chair of Faculty, Dr. Mimi Chapman, releases a statement criticizing the administration for not making the campus aware of a recommendation by the Orange County Health Department to move all classes online. Chancellor Guskowitz assured the campus community that he had been working with the health department to address their concerns. August 10th, the first day of classes. Students are taking a mix of in-person, remote, and hybrid courses. Classrooms were limited to 30% of their usual capacities.
Tonight, Eyewitness News is pressing UNC Chapel Hill leaders for answers after the university identified 2 clusters of COVID-19 in student housing.
August 14th, Alert Carolina notifies the community of coronavirus clusters in Ehringhaus and Granville. One of many more notifications to come. August 15th, a cluster in Sigma Nu fraternity house. August 16th, a cluster in Hinton James. Then on August 17th, just 1 week after classes began, Chancellor Guskowitz pulled the plug.
Breaking news starting Wednesday, the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill moving all their classes to online.
He announced all undergraduate classes would move online, and that students living on campus would begin the process of moving out. And since then, the Alert Carolina notifications keep coming. Ed Trench, Carolina Week.
Coronavirus here at UNC. As of this morning, UNC is reporting a total of 1,111 positive cases, with 11 reported today. Of those total positive cases, 1,052 are students, while 59 are faculty.
And on campus, libraries and dining halls are still open at limited capacity. Campus health is also still open for those students who remain in the Chapel Hill area.
Now, students cancel housing contracts. Who's left on campus? UNC is reporting that on-campus housing is currently at 13% occupancy, while Granville Towers is at 9%.
And having to leave campus came as a disappointment to thousands of Carolina students. Reporter Samaria Parker talked to some of them on their way out.
She moved into Morrison Residence Hall in August, and just a couple weeks later was forced to move right back out.
All of a sudden, we go from everything's in our room, classes have begun, to all of a sudden we have to shove everything back in our cars, in our vans, and leave while having classes going on.
With Alert Carolina COVID cluster notifications and viral videos of maskless get-togethers, first-year student Lacey McKee says the news came as no surprise.
I haven't really been seeing the amount of people that are actually here until I saw the slip and slide at Hojo, and then I was like, oh my God, that's so many people. And oh my God, none of them are wearing masks or social distancing.
Even though McKee expected UNC might go remote, she says her first year coming to such an early end has hit hard.
You're sitting next to your roommates, then they're like, oh, I'm leaving in 2 days. You're like, oh my God. It's just put everything kind of into reality, because I knew this would happen. And it's just it actually happened and I didn't like it.
UNC Housing is asking all students who recently moved home to participate in a 14-day self-quarantine and for those who have been exposed to seek COVID-19 testing. In Chapel Hill, Samaria Parker, Carolina Week.
The university has allowed some varsity athletes, international students, ROTC members, and individuals with hardships to remain in the residence halls.
Faculty also had to make some quick changes. Reporter Perry Price got their reactions.
They wanted to hold their classes in person. Sociology professor Kathleen Fitzgerald says the decision wasn't easy.
I didn't feel any external pressure to teach live and in person, although I felt a little pressure in general. The precarity of higher ed meant that we needed to try.
With all courses now online, faculty are trying to help their students by extending deadlines, offering extra office hours, and checking in on students' mental health. Some professors, like Sue Estroff in the School of Medicine, were frustrated with the decision to return to campus and thought the time being spent equipping campus to hold in-person classes should have been spent preparing the faculty to go fully remote.
We're the front lines and had the most contact with students and the most engagement with students. And we didn't feel that they were hearing from us.
She says the university overlooked social and developmental behavior, which could have predicted the rapid spread of cases on a college campus.
What I hope we've learned from this is that caution is better than trying to replicate something that cannot be right now.
And now that the decision to go remote is behind us, Fitzgerald and Estroff say they're moving forward to teach and mentor their students from a distance. In Chapel Hill, Perry Price, Carolina Week.
The university launched a special website for professors with training and resources on teaching during a pandemic.
Acapella has been a Carolina tradition for years. In the past, students have enjoyed events like Sunset Serenade and Fall Fest, which showcase all 10 groups on campus. But of course, this semester has been very unique. Tar Heel Voices, UNC's oldest co-ed a cappella group, created a virtual portal for auditions, which served all 10 a cappella groups. Students could sign up and upload an audition video to as many groups as they desired.
But we will continue to come up with creative ways to keep functioning as a group and a friend group.
Student theater companies, the UNC Popper Players, Company Carolina, Lab Theater, and Black Arts Theater Company started a collaborative effort to gather submissions from students for virtual productions. These submissions included original work by UNC students, including monologues, readings of student-written plays, and concert-style performances of original musicals. Leaders of each company met via Zoom to put this process together. One of those leaders, Senior Maria Cade, says the goal of this project was to get new students involved in theater.
Really just wanted to make opportunities for specifically first years to get involved with the organizations.
A gospel choir, a spoken word collective, a newly founded theater company, and a dance group. But none of those organizations will be able to conduct business as usual this semester, now that UNC has moved to remote learning. And the audition process will now be virtual, and this semester, they'll be relying heavily on social media showcases to stay active and safe.
So there's not really another option for us right now. So basically what we're trying to do is as creative as possible, brainstorm as far out as possible, and also just dreaming big, right? And then scaling things down to figure out what exactly is attainable for us in this world where there's a lot going on, but people are still looking for entertainment.
Movements are still taking place in person. Reporter Sierra Sanders talked to local organizers of the Black Lives Matter movement who had a busy summer and continue to fight against injustice.
Franklin Street to join a nationwide protest of an all too reoccurring issue.
Realized that we need to do something at Chapel Hill as well because, again, it was more so supporting the movement as a whole all around the country, but also understanding that we face injustices in Chapel Hill.
Troy is the current president of UNC Chapel Hill's Black Student Movement and was part of planning the protest with the help of Black Congress that brought crowds of more than 1,000 to Chapel Hill in the beginning of June.
We intended for it to be something where it was disruptive, right? Because the point of a protest is for it to be an inconvenience to others. So we didn't collaborate with the police for them to block off traffic. We blocked off traffic ourselves. So it was kind of one of those things where we wanted to ensure that we weren't just compromising or just settling, like this is something we wanted and intentionally to make a statement.
Chapel Hill local and first-year student Emil Charles helped plan one protest on Franklin Street and participated in many others around the Triangle.
So I've been in Chapel Hill for a long time and have seen a lot of injustices happen, from school to the way that the town thinks and treats people of color, Black people, houseless people, things like that. So seeing finally this come to fruition and be a really vocal cry to say this is wrong and our town is doing things wrong and how can we improve was really good.
Now that school has started again, what does the future need to look like for UNC?
We're not going to be in Chapel Hill forever, but it's very important for us to curate the culture that we want to be in this area for other Black students that come behind us. So I think that we achieved our mission.
Troy and Charles say they will continue to rally the Carolina community to push for equality and justice. Sierra Sanders, Carolina Week.
Eligible to become a member of the Black Student Movement and participate in Black Lives Matter rallies.
Like any Tar Heel fans have ever seen before. Here to break down the preparation for the upcoming season is Carolina Week's Kirsten Clark. Kirsten?
Season AP poll, the team was ranked number 18 and number 19 in the coaches poll. Despite the ranking, the team has been working hard with scrimmages and developing players on both sides of the ball. The Tar Heels won't have fans in the stands for the beginning of the season, but hope to open capacity in October.
There's so many new things that are going to be different. We tried the best of our ability to have a regular game scrimmage on Saturday with the music, with the crowd noise, so they could start understanding how weird it's going to be without fans.
2 months ago, we were thinking the game can be taken away from us at any point in time. But we're still out there working no matter what. But now we know, like, less than 2 weeks away, we're about to step on the field against another team, and we got no doubts in the back of our mind anymore.
We've been missing from UNC women's soccer team this season. Forward Alicia Russo and central defender Lotta Wibben-Moy have decided not to return to Carolina for their senior years. Russo, the 2019 ACC tournament MVP, led the team with 13 goals in her junior year season. Wibben-Moy, a 3-year starter for UNC, scored 6 goals last season and captained the defense all the way to the NCAA championship game. Russo explained in a Twitter post how the uncertainty of the pandemic has caused both players to make the difficult decision to turn pro and give up one last chance to compete at the college level. The back-to-back field hockey national champions are trying to keep their 46-game win streak going into another season. Following their win against Princeton in the NCAA championship game, the Tar Heels celebrated their second undefeated season in a row, but quickly shifted the mindset to prepare for this season. After losing 5 starting seniors, Carolina will have to fill positions on the attack team and in the midfield. Erin Matson returns for her junior campaign and will look to lead the team in goals and assists again this season. The Tar Heels return 6 starters and will be looking for that three-peat. They scrimmage Duke next Saturday in preparation for the season start in October.
We're not only training for the ACC this fall, but the potential of having a full season in the spring, I think, is also motivating us to just train as hard as we normally would.
The streak is something that's really fun for people to talk about, and I know it comes up in our meetings sometimes and everything, but I think our main focus is on just winning the next game and taking it one game at a time, even if that's only us having 6 regular season games this fall, taking each of those 6 at one game at a time, and the streak is just a byproduct of that.
Different this season without the UNC dance team cheering on the Tar Heels. Taylor Bennett shows us the changes we'll see on and off the field for the dance team.
from performing in front of thousands of fans to now practicing via Zoom. The dance team has transitioned to a fully virtual season with no performances in the near future. For sophomore Caitlin Schmidt, good memories of performing in front of packed stadiums now seem like a distant dream.
It's really sad. It's disappointing because, I look back at all my memories from last year and all the pictures that keep coming up, and it makes me really sad.
Though you won't be seeing the dance team performing at football games this semester. The team has worked closely with band director Jeffrey Fuchs to find creative ways to audition and welcome in new members.
I want to say we had close to 80 students submit audition materials. From that, we culled it down to about 48, 49 students that we invited into a weekend Zoom audition.
Since the auditions in May, the dance team has had summer practices and team bonding activities on Zoom, and will be continuing weekly virtual practices until they can return to in-person practices, hoping for the chance to compete at the Universal Dance Association National Competition.
Start learning choreo on our own and performing it over Zoom, and then maybe when we get together, we'll all put it together with spacing and everything.
Whether on the football sidelines or practicing dances on Zoom, the UNC dance team is working hard to promote Tar Heel spirit on and off campus. In Chapel Hill, I'm Taylor Bennett reporting.
That's it for sports. Stay safe, everyone.
The Carolina girls are so far.
Definitely. I think a lot of us feel the exact same way. So I went to social media to see how students are lightening the mood. Student body is very much alive and well. They have just relocated their voices and opinions to Facebook and Twitter in the form of memes. Some of these memes are heartwarming, while others directly call out or criticize administrators. From Disney movies to pop culture references, everything is fair game. As COVID-19 continues to rage on, we will be sure to see new content in the near future. Looking for them on social media.
I know I definitely do. It's been a huge stress reliever during this crazy time.
Definitely agreed. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week. Thanks for watching.